Welcome back, everyone, to our Insecure Season 4, Episode 2, The Deuces, Episode 2 recap. I am Brittany, better known as Be Right Breeze, and I have my sister, Janaya, better known as.
The only Janiyah Wright.
Yes, ma'am. So we are back to talk about episode 2 and get more in it. As you know, with our reviews, we start off with a nice recap of the episode and then we dive into a few questions. Go ahead, sis, and take it away.
At the beginning of episode 2 of season 4, we are 3 months away from Issa's block party. This is her amazing idea to bring a Coachella inspired experience to Inglewood. She is making great progress. She has
Mhm.
half the vendors she needs. She has the
Yes.
swag bag complete, okay? And her friendship slash business partnership with Condola continues to grow.
Yes.
In spite of the fact that Condola is dating Lawrence.
Mhm.
Issa and Condola, they end up having a conversation where they
Yep.
just decide to acknowledge the awkwardness, name it, and take the power right out of
That's
it.
it.
And that's what they work on doing. There's another
Yeah.
point in the episode where Lawrence and Issa have a conversation and they do the exact same thing. They acknowledge the awkwardness, they create some
Yeah.
boundaries, and they say, you know what? Let's get through this. We're all adults here. We all want the best for each other, you know? And I have to say, it's like you then start to look at how their friend circle is interacting with them as they're in this, love triangle for all intents and purposes. And you see like
Hmm.
Lawrence, interacting with Chad and Derek as usual, not super helpful messaging, guys.
Yeah.
It's like so now they're like
Derek hits the nose on the head just a little bit sometimes, but Chad,
he is
and those are the
absurd.
only two
He
married ones
lives
in
in
the
these
show.
he lives in these extremes,
Yes.
and they just start to feed into Lawrence's insecurities, feed right in there.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so that's the kind of support that he's getting. And guess who's not getting any support at all? That's Issa from Molly. Molly and
Mm,
Issa at this point, they are struggling to connect.
they
Call it
are.
calendars, call it chemistry, call it priorities, but
Yeah.
whatever it is, they're not sharing, they're not connecting. And so that's what we see playing out throughout the episode,
Yeah.
and Molly and Issa, that rift is growing and their interactions are awkward. And then, Molly resists even getting to know Condola. There's an
Mm,
opportunity for them to get together, and Molly is put
yes.
off by the entire thing. So, by the end of this episode, we're not seeing a positive swing in their
Yeah.
relationship. And
Mm-mm.
Molly is also struggling in her relationships at work. Her coworker, TAUREAN, this is somebody who was the office superstar before she arrived, and now she's come in and she's rubbing people the wrong way, and he especially is feeling a little bit of the limelight taken from him. They're not getting along, and they're working to create boundaries. Molly's also trying to create some boundaries with Andrew. She's wanting depth in the relationship, and
Yeah.
and they're both struggling. Molly and Andrew, they're both struggling to be vulnerable for different reasons, but they are both
Yeah.
struggling with it. But I do appreciate by the end of the episode, they're in it together. They're going to give it a try, but it's going to require both of them to be a little bit more comfortable in their vulnerabilities. So
Yes.
those were the main themes
Yes.
and high points on the episode, I think.
You did. You hit every nail on the head.
So hard to
Um,
summarize. There's so much nuance.
so much. And
A
that is why
quick
you
recap is
guys,
hard.
it is so hard. And you know we
Mm,
can talk. If you watch our refreshers, you know
yep,
we got a lot to say. Okay.
we do. Yeah.
But we're keeping it short this time. So let's jump
Mm-hmm.
into our, let's call them a 1 minute burner question. So our
Mm-hmm.
first question we get into, sis, how did you love those costumes that they had on? Can we discuss them? Okay. We
Please,
had
sis,
Issa.
walk them through.
We had Issa with her shout out to Spike Lee's movie. Um, uh, oh gosh, what's the name of the movie right now? I can't think of.
School days.
The school days. Thank you. I'm like, I'm about to say college days, but I'm like, that's not the right name.
You in the neighborhood, sis. You in the neighborhood.
She was
You're very
representing one
close.
of the Jigaboos. And then you also had Molly's character being Gabriella Union from oh gosh, why am I forgetting all the names? Bring It On.
Cheerleader Wars. Okay, that's right. Bring It On.
Like, all these movies. And then you have Tiffany, of course, being Cleopatra, honey. She wasn't going to be anyone else. And then you have my favorite, Kelly, being Babs. Okay.
That's our movie. Y'all don't even know. That is me and Brittany's
don't
movie.
Know.
We have that movie basically memorized.
That movie, yes. Because you know what? I'll sleep on this white carpet. Because I know it ain't nothing but
poodle heat. It's so
I know we live in large and take a charge.
Take a charge, big boy. Listen, I love that costume. But you know what I loved was that they put the time and effort in. I've never been one to really up, you know, but that is that level of commitment to a Halloween costume. You know what, but I'm inspired. Okay. In 2020, this just may be my costume year because of this episode, because I loved it. I love it.
You got time. We might still be in quarantine. You got time. You got time. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's just be real. Let's just be real.
Right. You're right, sis.
Now, another question I got for you. This is what I love about Insecure. It takes things that happen to all of us quietly and then brings it out loud to the forefront. When that condom got stuck in Issa, what went through your mind when you saw that happen with her?
I said what I say throughout every episode. Real life. You know, these are things that have happened to people. Yes. Okay, in the world. Okay, in the planet. So it's something else. Is another relatable point. You know, it just makes the show so good.
This show is so good, even right down to her talking about Plan B. But I will say that this is another nod to us back to one of our conversations about where are the condoms at, yo? We've been seeing so much sex in this show, and we ain't been seeing nobody wrapping it up. We've been seeing it, but now we know there was some wrap upage. All right, so I got some in depth. I got a couple questions for you, so a few more. All right. You alluded to it a little bit earlier, sis, but tell me more about your mindset behind Molly and Andrew's interaction.
Sure. You know, I got to tell you, I think that the transition, and I said this in our last recap, to move from casual relationship to romantic, like, I have to just say, that's hard. And so I feel like, they're struggling, but it's because that's a hard transition to me. It's a little bit easier to possibly go from romantic to casual, but to leap the other direction, it is really, really tricky. So that's what I feel like they're navigating. It's like, now, what does it mean to be vulnerable with you? How much of myself do I share? You know, how do I prioritize you? What did you think, sis?
I appreciate it. I appreciate watching Molly and Andrew find their rhythm. I think it's so real, and I think that's something that many people would like, to be able to be yourself and have someone on the receiving end of your flaw or your hang up or your mistake and be able to forgive you for it, find grace for you because I'm dealing with something similar. And then you two be man and woman enough to stand up, say, I apologize, and let's move forward. I'm not holding this over you. I'm not holding this against you. And even to watch Molly not acquiesce to what she wants in terms of, I want to know more about you. We're getting more serious. We're more consistent, but I still feel like I don't know about you and you're holding back. Oftentimes, I think we teach women, you be the one to call and say, oh my God, I said too much, but she didn't. And having Andrew call her to say, you know what, I just haven't been vulnerable like that with anyone.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
to be able to say that and then allow that opportunity for them to apologize. And then you're like, you're feeling hope too. Like, yes.
Yeah.
Also, I just really want to discuss that scene with Molly and Andrew in Molly's apartment. Listen here. Andrew was putting in work.
He was.
He was putting in work.
He really was. He
Listen,
was the good work.
There is no
He was
shortage of loving up in this show.
Mm-mm.
Ain't none.
Mm-mm.
Another question I got for you, sis, it's just a little more in depth about your thought behind Molly and Issa's communication, and just how they have secrets and those different types of things. What is your mindset behind that, around that, really?
Yeah, I have, as I mentioned to you, it felt like a little bit of a sneak attack for me to see this relationship going into free fall. I don't know. I didn't see it coming as much in season 3 as you did. And so to see it playing out right now in season 4, it's like, it's just
what's happening right now.
It's what's happening, and
Yeah.
in some ways I'm always like, you know what, things are seasonal. Some seasons are an eternity, some are not. Sometimes you need a break. And so part of me is like, don't fight it if this is what's happening. The other part of me is like, hey, you had something there. It's worth talking through.
Yeah.
What do you want them to do about it, sis? What's your reaction to it?
I would love for them to be able to reconcile, but I think they're going to have to have a hard conversation. They're going to have some type of hard conversation that lays it out, and understand how you made mention in the last recap, how you know what, they're both in a selfish place right now, which being selfish is okay. And you don't mean to be. And sometimes you have to call your friend out in a way to say, hey, girl, where you been? I've been needing you. Or I've been here, but we haven't been interacting. I think the part that really shocked me the most was when Kelly made a statement at their at Tiffany's house when they're putting all the healthy candy together, and they're having a conversation, and Issa and Kelly says, oh, I already heard this story. When we know from seasons past, it would have not been like that.
Sure.
It would have been Kelly getting the story second. So I just, that to me was like, that was huge to hear her say that. And even to see Molly lie about Andrew giving them a call when they were on the hike. It wasn't just like, oh, it's Andrew. It was kind of like, oh, I got to take this. Oh, it was work. What was that about? Why couldn't she just tell her? But it was understandable because the times that they've been trying to have their more in-depth conversation, someone's been busy. They let CONDOLA stay. Issa let CONDOLA stay at their lunch or dinner, whatever was happening at that moment. So it's just been things in the way. But speaking of, go ahead.
No, I was just I was giving you some good in there.
Listen, I felt it.
Yeah.
I felt it.
Yeah.
So I will say another question I do have for you is about Lawrence and Issa's interaction. I know that it was not a lot, but what were your thoughts behind just those few moments that they had?
I gotta tell you, I people are often, skeptical when I say that I am not on bad terms with my ex that I was with for many, many years. And it's true. And so my own life experience says, yeah, you can get over it. And that the fundamentals of friendship that live at the base of any long-term relationship, they can be sustained. It's always going to be tricky, but I think it's possible to truly have each other's best interests at heart in a real way. And, so because I have lived it, I can see the possibility of the two of them working to a place where they could truly be cordial without kind of like that undercurrent. So I'm
Yeah.
optimistic for them. I really am.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I agree with you completely. I did take it a little further in my mind, like, are they separately remembering how much they do actually know about each other?
And of course.
How right. Are they,
Mm-hmm.
of course those memories they'll always pop up, but is it enough to make you go, huh? Of course, with Issa, she's probably not thinking that way. She's probably trying to be the furthest thing. Her new bestie is his bae, so she doesn't want to mess up either one of those situations to the point where
Mm-hmm.
she is so cautious about her interactions. Trying not to be the messy person that Molly called her in the beginning. She reaches out to Lawrence, hey, how do you feel about me and Condola hanging out? He's like, oh, should I mention that you and I met up? And he's like, no, it's not that serious. So just that type of level of respect that she even has for him
Mm-hmm.
in his
Mm-hmm.
interaction with Condola.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So my last question for you is, Molly and TAUREAN, how are you feeling about her relationship with her coworker?
I have so many thoughts there. It's something about two people being the same that can
Mhm.
be the basis for great collaboration,
Yeah.
or it's like a fight to the death. And
Yeah.
something in me feels like this is not going toward them discovering each other's virtues. I feel like they're heading toward a fight to the death. So I don't
Really?
know. I feel like it's going to escalate.
Okay.
So I'm
I
not.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Mm-hmm.
that.
We'll
Guns out.
see. We'll
I
see.
feel, you know what? I feel like Molly started to try to take her therapist advice that we learned about in
Mm.
season 3, which was, do you have to win? Do you always have to do that? Just dial it back. Also, a little bit of Issa saying, is that who you want to be in the office? I think Molly has internalized that. And she's like, okay, I don't want to be like, I want to be a boss, but I don't know if I want to be like a bitch. Like, I don't want to be that. And so I think she's trying to
Mm-hmm.
figure those parts out. And
Mm-hmm.
in that, TAUREAN's like, okay, you were on my back. Now what's going on? You're giving me compliments, you're not saying nothing, you're trying to be my travel agent. What's going on? And she's like, I
Mm-hmm.
just feel bad about how I approach things with that case. I think for TAUREAN, because he is a man and he knows how it goes, he's caught off guard by this apology. And all he says is okay and walks out the office.
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't know how to even process that information. A colleague is apologizing to me for going in. Like, this is not
Mm-hmm.
what we do. But so I'll be interested to see their camaraderie, what that begins to look like, and if it
Mm-hmm.
will just escalate into something that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else that you think we missed? Maybe we should highlight on, kind of throw that
I feel
out
like we hit
there.
the main parts. It's like every
Uh,
single piece of this show you could watch. I mean, you could discuss for an hour.
for an
So for
hour.
for the sake of the high level touch, I think we hit the main boxes, sis. I think we hit
Yes,
them.
excellent. Well, you guys, we appreciate you coming back for our Insecure Season 4, Episode 2 recap. So, sis, let them know where they can find you.
I am on Instagram and Facebook at the only Janiyah Wright.
Excellent. I am Be Right Breeze on all social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok. You can find me having a good time. We want you to subscribe to both of our pages that we do have on all parts of our social media platforms. And we also want you to comment below. Let us know what you're thinking and allow us the opportunity to interact. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't agree. Overall, we want you to be nice. So with that said, you guys, we'll see you at the next recap. Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.